August 15th. The debate you've all been waiting for and that we all deserve goes down today on the Alec Leigh Show between former President Donald Trump and Democrat nominee Vice President Kamala Harris. And speaking of debates, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz have agreed to debate in October. Dr. Fauci gets COVID for a third time as the World Health Organization declares monkeypox as a global health emergency. I'm Alec Leigh. This is the Alec Leigh Show.
The American family is under attack. Parents are the underdog of this nation. Your children are being indoctrinated. That's right. Your children. They do not belong to the state. They do not belong to the school system. They belong to you, the parents, as a blessing from God our Father. So let's preserve, protect, and fight for the American family together. You're listening to the Alec Leigh Show. The future is family.
All right, let's do this. Welcome, everybody, to the Alec Leigh Show. I'm happy and honored, as always, to be here with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the broadcast here, please subscribe to the channel, follow the channel here on Rumble. Don't forget to like the button if you're enjoying it. Leave a comment. Get involved in the live chat. We are going to have a ton of fun today. You guys are going to love today's program. Now, I want to start out first with just a couple of shopkeeping notes here. I apologize for not having an episode on Tuesday. It's only the second time since I've launched this show that I didn't put out a episode on Tuesday. So I apologize for not being here. I did complete, I should say, the Navy SEAL swim across the Hudson River on Saturday. You guys have heard me talking about this event for months now. I've been training for it, and I had the absolute honor and privilege of being among our nation's greatest warriors and I just have a chance to be around these guys who have given so much, or who have really laid it on the line for our freedom as they raise money for the Navy SEAL Foundation. Now, I've asked you guys to donate. Many of you have stepped up. Many of you listeners, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's contributed to my campaign over the last several months. The Navy SEAL Foundation raised over $650,000, which is the most that they've ever done. It's the biggest one that they've ever had. We had more swimmers this year than we've ever had. 300 swimmers hit the water in Jersey City and made the swim across the Hudson over to New York. On the way, we stopped at two different barges where we did push-ups and pull-ups. So all told, it's a 3-mile swim, a 2-mile run, 66 pull-ups, and 300 push-ups. So it is a marathon day. Fox News covered it. Some of you guys may have seen some of the coverage. Will Cain did the swim with us. Pete Hegseth was scheduled to do the swim. He didn't do it this year with us. So he was nice and cozy in the booth there talking with Will Cain throughout the swim. But, these guys do it in honor and memory of their brothers that they lost on Extortion 17, which was a helicopter that was shot down in Afghanistan 13 years ago on August 6th. So it was the largest single incident loss of life in naval special warfare history. These guys, they compete they do this event with a very, very heavy heart. And they also do it in remembrance of all those that were lost on 9/11. We start at the 9/11 memorial there in Jersey City at the Empty Sky Memorial. That's where we begin, do a prayer, and then we run to Liberty State Park where the Leapfrogs jumped in. Everyone's carrying American flags. It's just such a beautiful event. It was put on. Navy SEAL Bill Brown, who's a friend of mine, puts this event on. It has grown tremendously since he first launched this event. And again, they raised over $650,000 for the Navy SEAL Foundation. These guys are the best of the best, the tip of the spear. And it was so cool. So many patriotic Americans. I think there was about 60 Navy SEALs that did the swim. You also had other special operation forces guys that were there. You had FDNY, NYPD, Port Authority, and just so many good, great American patriots that were there. So I was just honored to be a part of that. And sharing some of the clips as I'm speaking here with you guys that you can see on the screen if you're watching on Rumble. So, they had some speakers there. Bernard Kerik, who was the police commissioner during 9/11, he spoke. You had some Gold Star parents. Danny Dietz's mom was there and spoke. Her son, Danny Dietz, obviously one of the ones that was killed in Operation Red Wings. So I think there was about 30 or 30-something Gold Star family members that attended this thing. And it was just, again, I'm just honored to be a part of it. And I'm grateful to everybody who helped support my campaign for the Navy SEAL Foundation along the way here. So thank you so much. I look forward to doing it again next year. And again, so I apologize for not having an episode on Tuesday. I was all sunburnt from the event. I didn't lather up properly there. I got sunburnt. My voice was really hoarse on Tuesday morning. I don't know, I would imagine whatever's in that Hudson River, it can't be too good for you, but my throat was very hoarse, so I figured it would be best to not, bend your ears with that type of volume on Tuesday. So I forego the episode on Tuesday. The other downside of this thing is I was scheduled to have Laura Logan here on the podcast with me Thursday, today. I promised you guys that last week. She hit me up yesterday. She wasn't feeling good. She had to postpone, so unfortunately, don't have her for the program today, but I will be in contact with her. Hopefully, we make that happen for next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But I do have what I've been promoting for you guys. The debate, the one that we all really deserve, is going to go down today at the end of the program here. We're going to wait to see how many live viewers we can build up here as we get closer to it. Sean Farash does the absolute best impersonation of President Donald Trump that you've ever heard. There's many different Donald Trump impersonators that are out there. There is none that do it as well as Sean Farash. So I'm honored to get him on the podcast to do this debate with Esty Palti, who is by far the best Kamala Harris impersonator or impressionist that is anywhere out there. So if you've ever been on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or X, chances are you have seen both of these. They are at the top of their game. And I kind of just threw this out there on a whim on Twitter to say, hey, because at the time, Kamala backed out of the debate with Trump. So I threw it out there to say, man, who would love to see this debate between Sean and Esty? And both of them replied and said they would love to do it. We locked down the time. Today is the day, so I'm honored to get them on the podcast to do this debate. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. And in case you aren't familiar with their game, here's a little clip of both of them doing their thing.
Well, they took my mugshot. It's a big, beautiful mugshot. Look at it. I call it the Mona Lisa of mugshots. It's incredible. Look at that. It's like my phone calls. It's a perfect mugshot. So perfect and so beautiful. Many people say that they have a good side and a bad side. I only have one side. It's called my great side. They got my great side with this mugshot. It's a beautiful picture of a very handsome guy with wonderful hair. Such a beautiful mugshot that Hunter Biden may want to paint a picture of it and sell it for a lot of money to Russia, or China, or even Ukraine. You know about it. Such a perfect, beautiful, highly respected mugshot. The greatest mugshot in the history of the world, believe me.
Let me know when to start. Now? Hi, Michelle and Barack. Do it again? Okay. Well, look who it is. It's Big Mike and Barack. Crap. All right. Take 49. Oh, thank you so much. And your endorsement means so much to me. Even though I didn't have it the first time. Yes, the time to act is now. Now is the time to act. And I will be doing what we promised we will be doing. And that time is every day. Doing what we had to cut. They said to cut. I was trying something different from unburdening what has been. That was your direction. I think the American people are coming around to it.
Both of them extremely talented at what they do, so we're going to have some fun with this. So stick around for the great debate of 2024 between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. Just a couple of things to get to here first before we get down and break down into this debate. President Trump was speaking in Asheville, North Carolina, and he was on fire yesterday while he was speaking. We know he's coming off of the huge the interview that he did with Elon Musk that really just took social media. It may have been the most listened to interview of all time by the time this thing is done circulating through all of it. The internet exploded with this thing. Of course, social media trying to knock it every chance they get because they're very jealous, all these media outlets, very jealous that they got so much attention. Now, also, too, he's offered Kamala Harris to do the interview on X, and she has not accepted that. But so Trump was speaking down in Asheville, North Carolina. I just wanted to share a taste of Trump talking down there. This was great stuff. Take a listen.
Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Common sense. We will stop the invasion, end the migrant crime, support our great police, save Medicare, and save Social Security, which is under siege. We will strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity, hope, and joy. But for that to happen, we must never let Kamala Harris get anywhere near the White House, and we must defeat her country-destroying liberal agenda. She destroyed San Francisco. She's not going to destroy our country. So get your friends, get your family, register, volunteer, and get the hell out and vote. You got to vote. On November 5th, we will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will put America first, and we will make America great again. Thank you very much. North Carolina.
A lot of passion from Trump yesterday in North Carolina. He also promised to end the inflation, mayhem, and misery that our country has been facing. We have got just 82 days, hard to believe, until Election Day. We are coming down the wire here now. Only 82 days to go. But these are the things, we have a lot of, there's a lot of other nonsense that's going on, but American families are just being crushed by what's been happening in this country. And a lot of this, Kamala Harris's playbook here is very, very similar to the way Joe Biden's was heading into the 2020 election, where they're not allowing her to do press conferences, not allowing her to speak and take questions and speak off the cuff. They're protecting her very much so. And it's funny to me, it still is amazing to me how Democrat voters, left-wing lunatics on Twitter and on social media are just perfectly fine with the fact that they duped them out of the candidate of their choice. They didn't even give them a chance to make a selection. They picked the person for them, and they're all like, it's okay. They don't care. They're all right with this, and it's wrong what they did, and they did it on purpose. They put Joe Biden up there so everyone would vote. They did a bait and switch. They knew Joe would never make it to the wire. Everybody could see that was coming, and so they made everybody vote in the primary for Joe. They pulled him. They put the candidate they wanted in there. Kamala Harris didn't stand a chance. She would have had zero chance of being the Democrat nominee if it went to the voters. Zero chance. There's no way in the world she would have been selected. Or I should say elected. She was selected. And now they hide her away from the press and from the media. Her spokespeople are like, oh, she just wants to talk directly to the voters. So very strange the way that they're running this campaign. And we're going to see more of it for the next 82 days. This is the plan, is to protect her, to coddle her, even though the press is her friend. I mean, they couldn't be fawn over this woman more than they do. So the press is friendly as hell to her. They hate Donald Trump, but yet it's Donald Trump that goes into the fray and Kamala who avoids it like the plague. Very, very strange to see that whole thing go down. But we will now, again, we're going to have the debate between Trump and Kamala coming up, so we'll touch on some of that stuff. But speaking of the debate, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz will now have a debate scheduled for October 1st. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch, these two guys. Now, the biggest problem that I've had, and you guys heard me talk about this last week with Allie Legg from Moms for America, Tim Walz is the most anti-parent person that we have in politics. And this is one of the reasons why I can't stand this guy. Here's from Breitbart, exclusive. Minnesota State Rep Harry Niska. Tim Walz admin made it a priority to delete language from law that protected children from pedophiles. This whole thing about our children and what we are putting our children into because of this LGBTQ community, because of this transgender community, it is a It is a safe haven for pedophiles in America right now. And we need to do everything possible to crack down on what is going on with our children in this country. And this guy, Tim Walz, is the worst possible person for this, amongst many other things. But this issue in particular, where Breitbart had, now this was on Breitbart, a Rasmussen poll. 6 in 10 Americans oppose same-sex, drugs, and surgeries for minors. Now, 6 in 10 oppose same-sex drugs and surgeries for minors. 6 in 10. What are the other 4 in 10? Are we that far off the mark here? This was this Rasmussen poll. Out of 58% of the people oppose sex changes for minors, 47% say they are strongly opposed to such measures. Only 47% are strongly opposed? I mean, 30% of Americans support sex-mutilating drugs and surgeries for minor, while 12% are unsure. So 30% of Americans are okay with sexually mutilating children? I have a hard time believing. If that's true, that is very sad. And then by political affliction, this poll goes on. Democrats are more likely 47% than Republicans, 13%, to support sex mutilating. So 47% of Democrats are for mutilating our children with drugs and surgeries. 47% of Democrats. This is crazy. Here's the other thing. Nearly half of Americans, 47%, oppose schools and teacher counseling to students of sexual and gender identities without parental knowledge or consent. 47%. That's less than half. We've got, unless this poll is off, I mean, I don't know about you, but I talked to many parents, lots of different parents. I've interviewed, just interviews alone, over 750 parents. I cannot find a parent who thinks that sexually mutilating children is a good idea. Where are all these people? They're saying in the poll only 47%. Where's the rest of these lunatics that think it's okay to mutilate our children? And one of the champions of this is Tim Walz. We got to do everything we can possible to protect our kids. And here's the thing. We're saying these left-wing lunatics that think it's okay to mutilate the children, they're going to be nowhere to be found when these children are grown up and they realize they've destroyed their bodies and they want to go back and they fall into this deep depression. There's going to be nobody there on the left to pick up the pieces of these people. None. The LGBTQ community will be the first ones to leave the ship. The minute that they want to detransition or the minute that they say they made a mistake, the LGBTQ community will be on the A train out of there. They will be nowhere to be found. This is why when I had Riley Gaines on here, we need a detransitioner day of awareness where we listen to these detransitioners, talk about their horror stories that they've gone through. We've got these dangerous people like this Tim Walz, who hate our children, who want to take away the power from the parents and give it to the state. They are dangerous, man. All right, so we have the J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. That is going to be quite the show, quite the debate going down on October 1st. One of the other stories I wanted to get to before we hit the great debate here, Dr. Fauci, the fraud that he is, he tests positive for COVID-19 now. Okay, so I'm going to play you the clip from Dr. Fauci talking about why you need to get vaccinated from 2021, and then we're going to play the clip from him a couple days ago, and look at the difference of these two clips. Take a look.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected. I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my third infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times. When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected. I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my third infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
So the guy that told you that you didn't have to worry if you got vaccinated, remember President Biden told you you're not going to get COVID if you get vaccinated. No one has been vaccinated more than Dr. Fauci here. He's vaccinated 6 times, right? Well, maybe there are people that are vaccinated 10. Who knows? But Dr. Fauci's vaccinated 6 times for COVID-19. It's the 3rd time he's got it. Now, I've never had the COVID vaccine, and I've also never gotten COVID. But this whole entire COVID-19 vaccine has been a scam from day one, and it's amazing to me that we still have people that are so retarded in their minds that couldn't see that they were duped by this entire thing. It's amazing to me. And everyone says, oh, well, we were going by the information we had at the time. Did you not have common sense at the time, which is what we were all applying to the chaos that was going on during COVID-19? But here's Dr. Fauci himself, who has COVID for the third time. He's vaccinated out the ass, and he's still continuing to get COVID. And they still are telling people to get vaccinated. And now, what do we have yesterday? The World Health Organization, the big crooks that they are declaring a global emergency now over monkeypox. Now, we figured that it was going to be the bird flu coming, which still may be on tap, but it looks like they're going with this monkeypox right now as the global emergency. Here was the WHO yesterday.
Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of Mpox in eastern DRC, its detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported Mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. In addition to other outbreaks of other clades of Mpox in other parts of Africa, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives.
So with 82 days left to go until the election, monkeypox now is a global emergency. Now here's the problem. This is the boy who cried wolf thing. The World Health Organization has lost all credibility. And if you still believe in them, you are one of the dumbest people on the planet. If you still listen to Dr. Fauci, you have to be just stupid. There's no other way to explain it. Why would you ever listen to Dr. Fauci again? Why would you ever trust the World Health Organization again? The World Health Organization needs to be stripped completely, stripped down, and then start from scratch. They should even change the name of it. You cannot, the FDA needs to be stripped down and restarted again. They lost all credibility. And these people still, with the, it's like one of those things where it's like you tried to apply common sense to these people that were getting vaccinated and still getting COVID. It's like, do you realize, like, I had the measles vaccine. I never got the measles, right? My children got chickenpox vaccines. They never got chickenpox. Like, those are vaccines the way I understand it. When you're getting a vaccine for COVID and still getting COVID, that's not a vaccine that you're receiving. But you don't have, like, I don't know anything about science. I have zero clue. I'm the last person you'd want to go to for scientific advice. The only thing you can apply is common sense of what you do see and what you hear and what you know. And that's all you can do. And it just seemed like those people flourished during the COVID. So here comes the global pandemic now of monkeypox. And from what I understand, if you're going to get this monkeypox, you got to be doing some very nefarious activities here to get involved in this. But that's a whole nother story down the line. All right, so let's get to the fun here, all right? I've been promising you guys this. I've been promoting it on social media. Now is the time. I'm going to have Sean Farash, who does the best President Donald Trump impersonation that you've ever heard, and Esty Palti, who does the absolute best Kamala Harris impression that you've ever heard, and we're going to bring them on here. We're going to get down to it. We're going to hit you guys now with the debate. So let's get to it. I can't wait to do it. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to it. Decision 2024. Let's bring them on.
You're listening to the Alec Lake Show. The future is family.
All right, let's do this. The Decision 2024, the debate of the century between a former President Donald Trump, Vice President Kamala Harris. We were going to do this in person, but CDC guidelines with the monkeypox, we're doing it virtual here. And before we begin, Kamala, I just want to say thank you. You've been so elusive. You have been playing hard to get with the press. I reached out to Willie Brown. I said, hey, how can I nail her down? He gave me the advice. I got you here today. So I'm grateful for that. I was going to flip a coin to see who goes first. Inflation's out of control. I got no coins left. I drew a paper straw. President Trump, you're going to be up first. And we're going to stick with that same category here. Your opponent, Vice President Harris, has been elusive with the media. She doesn't do any press conferences. You You've been hitting it with Elon Musk, Aiden Ross, 1 hour press conferences. How do you think these two strategies are going to play out with the voters?
Well, first of all, what I want to say is, there's nobody better to call than Willie Brown when you're talking about nailing down Kamala Harris, okay? Because this is something that has happened in the past. And, I was talking to him on the helicopter. He said it happened with great frequency, when you look at it. But she doesn't like doing the media, but she likes you, which makes me think maybe I shouldn't like you because she won't go on the media with people she doesn't like. But we love Alec. Alec is a great guy, works very hard. He's a fantastic father, and he has a tremendous show, does a wonderful job. We love the media. We'll talk to anybody, and we do it all the time. We do press conferences. We do interviews. We had Aiden Ross and a beautiful Cybertruck with our good friend. He's a great friend, Elon. We love Elon. We call him Big Rocket Man as opposed to Little Rocket Man over there in North Korea. But she's hiding from the press, and you're going to find out why, because when she goes in front of cameras, it turns into a complete and total disaster. We're talking about more word salads and bigger salads than some of the greatest vegans the world has ever seen. Those are her voters, by the way. But you look at this is why she avoids the press, because she doesn't know how to handle the press. She's not smart enough. We talked about that. Not smart to handle the press, and that's why she's been avoiding it. And I'm very smart. Some of the greatest and most highly respected people say they've never seen an IQ like Donald Trump, the greatest IQ. And so we can handle the press. We do it a lot. And they're starting to like me. I can tell you that because she's nowhere to be found. They say at least he gives us something to do. So we love the press. She hates the press. And we have a love-hate relationship with the press, but we will do conferences with the press all the time because we're not afraid, unlike her, believe me.
Dan, well said, former President Trump. Madam President, you just even were splashed on the cover of Time magazine, refused to give them the interview. So what is the rope-a-dope you're playing with the press here? What's the strategy? Explain this to the voters.
Let me be very clear, all right? First of all, the only reason I even took this interview is because Willie was texting me something about getting nailed. He meant nailing the interview. I made a mistake, but, I'm here and I'm not afraid. The voters have to understand that, times are hard. And, we've been really busy with Bidenomics. I can't do, I'm running a country right now. A lot of people don't understand this, but Joe, he's tapped out. We can't keep zapping him, right? So, I have a lot going on. I'm in the middle of running a country, changing diapers, and Donald Trump, he's not going to win. So I'm not worried about interviews and, press conferences. I don't feel like I need to do any of that. Trump he was always illegitimate, everything that he put into play, we undid it and then we did it again and took credit for it. So none of that even matters. All right. I just want you to understand that I'm not hiding. I'm right here, Don, and I'm waiting for you.
Well said, Madam Vice President. Again, I just want to make this, quick announcement there, too, that I did vote for President Trump in 16, 20, and 24. I will be voting for him again, but I am completely non-biased in his interview. I got to give round one to President Trump. That was a banger answer. Camilla, hopefully you'll improve as we go along here. But let's move on to the second category here.
What a great person, by the way. You see that? He's a great guy. We love this Alec. He's a great guy. Okay, you see that?
Just trying to be fair. That's all here.
He's fantastic.
All right, so now we're going to move on to, there's been a lot of chatter online here about your vice president picks. We got J.D. Vance. They accuse him of sleeping with his couch. Tim Walz, they accuse him of drinking horse semen, stolen valor, the whole bit. So how can you guys assure the public that your pick for vice president will be able to step in as commander-in-chief provided they're called to action?
Well, I have to say, so J.D. Vance is a tremendous guy. He's got a beautiful beard, and we're very happy with him. He's a great pick. He served his country honorably and didn't lie about it. You know that? He didn't lie about it. Tim Walz lied about it, said he went to war. He's never been to war. Said he went to Afghanistan, never went to Afghanistan. Said he was a command sergeant major. And we know that was not true either. He was demoted before he retired because he didn't want to deploy to Iraq, which I don't blame him. If I was your president, there'd be no Iraq war, and he wouldn't have had to go. He was probably hoping, I wish Donald Trump was my president. I wouldn't be deployed to Iraq because there'd be no Iraq war. But he's a disaster. They call him stolen valor. They call him Tampon Tim. He wants to put tampons in the boys' room, but they call J.D. Vance weird. Nothing is weirder than a boy using a tampon. And I don't know, maybe Tim has to use them for some reason. We call them paintballs walls, because he had his cops shoot paintballs at people. Could you believe that? He shot paintballs at people in Minneapolis after he let the city burn down in the fiery but mostly peaceful protest. He's a complete and total disaster. Looks like an overgrown cream puff. You look at him, he looks like a pastry. Chris Christie gets excited. We don't need to worry about him. We love J.D. Vance. He's a tremendous person. He's going to be great just in case something bad happens, because a lot of people want to forget. Something bad almost happened. I turned my head to the right. I got shot in the ear. What a horrible thing. But I'm here. I'm here to tell the tale. I'm alive. I'm still kicking. And we're going to win like nobody's ever seen. But if something bad happens, we know J.D. Vance is going to be able to lead this country into prosperity, whereas no balls walls, if he had to be the president, would probably retire and leave, just like he did when he was in the National Guard, because he's a coward and he's not capable of anything. That much I can tell you.
Great stuff, Madam Vice President. Tim Walz annihilated there by the former president. What's your take here? Is Tim Walz ready to step in, and what's your take on J.D. Vance?
Yeah, first of all, let me be clear. J.D. Vance, he's weird, all right? And I'm sticking with that. He's weird. I don't know what his deal is. And, you say tampon Tim like it's a bad thing. I'm not going to lie, Don. Sometimes you do have, some good unburdened ideas. I think my campaign slogan will be Campon. I think that's great. But let's get serious for a second. I spoke about this at length before. All right. I might even spoken about this more times than I've spoken about the border, which I do plan on, going to eventually. But you got to understand, like Joe, he was slow to start. And, Tim, he's just so energetic. He's exactly what the people want. When it comes to, stolen valor, I mean, valor is valor. And your definition of what war is might be different to somebody else's definition. That's why you're dangerous to democracy. You're dangerous. We try to redefine all definitions to make the world a better place, right? That's what diversity is about. That's what inclusivity is about. So, I want him to enjoy whatever semen he wants to enjoy. I want him to wear tampons if he needs them, because I want the little boys in this country to be prepared for when they need to menstruate, right? And you don't care about the kids. You clearly don't care about them. My administration is filled with people who care about the children, all right? I don't really care about the ones at the border, but that's a different story. It's another question, Alex. So, Don, I'm going to tell you, you say tampon Tim like it's a bad thing. JD is a weirdo. All right. And, he married that Indian woman to spite me. Don't think I don't see what you're both up to. Right.
All right, let's move along. I'm not sure we want to have that kind of racial undertone here. Let's keep it clean if we can here, possibly, Madam Vice President. Right away with the race we're going into, we want to protect all races and people's
diversity, Alex.
What a terrible thing! What a terrible thing! No, I have to say this. What a terrible thing!
Yeah, it's about diversity.
Let's not act like children. Let's not act like children, okay? Or you're going to challenge me to golf soon, just like your boss, okay? Let's not act like children.
I'll see you on that, on that football field any day for golf. All right.
All right, let me see if I got to use the mute button here, Madam Vice President. I'm going to move this on here to inflation here, because I'm telling you right now, as a family man myself, the inflation has been destroying us here. It costs more for milk, bread, and eggs now than it does for a six-pack of beer. In fact, what I've been doing is getting a six-pack of Corona, giving it to the illegals, and using their EBT stamps to buy my milk, bread, and eggs for the family. But the inflation is out of control here.
How can arrest him? All right, he's using somebody else's EBT. Go after him. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
I got to keep an eye out now here, too, because the IRS is coming after me for my tax on tips. We're going to get to that in a second here, too. But how would we explain to the voters here MAGAnomics versus Kamalanomics, and how could we just tell the people that relief is on the way? What could you say about it? President Trump, start with you.
Well, we have a horrible inflation crisis that's going on, and the cost of food. Everybody's unhappy with this. And, I don't get along with this guy, but his name is Chris Christie, and we're inflating faster than his waistline after Pizza Hut. And that's a lot of inflation when you look at it. He blows up like a balloon. He looks like the Chinese spy balloon. which the hyena let go across our country. You know that there was a balloon from China and it came across, and I got along very well with China.
He's
I got
still
along
on the
well with.
balloon.
I
Unbelievable.
got along very well. Excuse me. I got along very well with Xi Jinping. I call him Winnie the Pooh because you can't say that in China. You get banned for that. But he looks like Winnie the Pooh. You know that. He's a great cartoon character, but I got along very well. And they never flew balloons over our country. But the inflation is a problem. And Chris Christie says he doesn't like me, but he wants to pay less for food because it's his biggest expense, believe it or not. And everybody believes it. The inflation crisis is a disaster. Rosie O'Donnell may even vote for me. Stacey Abrams, I call her, Alec, I call her the beast of the Southeast. She eats a lot. And she's not happy with how much things are costing. So these people are going to vote for Trump because I'm going to bring your prices down. She says she's going to bring your prices down. The prices have gone up like crazy, like a rocket ship, like one of Elon's rockets. It's gone up like nobody's ever seen before. And we got to get it under control because this is crushing people. It's crushing people like Rosie O'Donnell's bathroom scale when she steps on it. And the scale looks down and says, get off. It says, please, you're hurting me. That's what happens when she gets on there. They get crushed. We're getting crushed by Kamalanomics. 3.5 years, we've had horrible things happening, terrible. People are keeping less of their money because of Kamalanomics, and we're going to fix that with Maganomics, and everybody's going to be much happier like when we were 4 years ago. Gas was affordable, eggs were affordable, we could have beef, we could have a steak. Now you can't have that. They want you to eat bugs. They want you to have all these terrible things. We are going to make our country affordable again, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. That much I can say.
Well, I'm looking forward to that day. I pray it comes soon. Madam Vice President, how are you going to fix this inflation, this terrible economy that we have, despite not doing anything for the last 3.5 years about it?
Costs have gone up. Costs have gone up. It is, that's because the cost of living has gone up, Don. If you understood how economics works, then you would understand that, right? I've been trying to fix the mess that you created in 2020. So,
we didn't have a mess. We didn't have a mess.
We had a mess.
We had a beautiful thing.
I'm speaking.
We had a beautiful country, and you ruined it.
I'm speaking. Okay, good. Be quiet. And, I got to tell you, you vote me into office. I'm talking to the voters now. On day one, we will fix that problem. On day one. I know I've had 3.5 years to fix it. We're not talking about the past right now. Donald lives in the past. I'm talking about on day one. You put me into office. I'll get everything down. All right. I'll get everything down by at least.
We know
that. Yeah, you should have been a comedian, Donald. You really know how to deflect. You shouldn't have run.
We know you're going to get it down. We talked about Montel already. That's the first question. We know you're going to get it down. Okay.
Montel's a great guy. All right. You can learn a lot.
And Willie too. Willie Brown. You know that? They call
They're
him Willie
both,
Down
they're
Brown.
both
That's what
fine, upstanding gentlemen, and they support women, unlike yourself. All right. You don't like women. They support women. They helped me.
He supported you. All right. I can tell you that. Willie Brown.
They helped me get here, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
You asked him for help. You asked him for help overnight under the covers. We understand what happened. Okay, good.
On day one, I will fix inflation. All right. The cost of living, all of that, has gone up. That's your fault, Trump. And I'm sticking with that. That's your fault. We're going to fix that on day one. You vote for me. We fix it on day one.
We had the most affordable country. I'm just saying that. We had the most affordable. Alec knows. He's a smart guy.
That's Biden's fault. I had nothing to do with it. I'm not responsible for anything in this administration.
And Madam Vice President, I'm not sure if that's Willie or Montel, but someone keeps texting you over there. I don't know if that's becoming an issue on your end, but I keep hearing that beeping going off. It's getting very, very monotonous. So I'm
so sorry, but it's a lot of interview requests. I don't know what these people want from me.
And she's telling all of them no. And they're saying, why not? And she's saying nothing. That's what's happening. It's the fake news wants to interview her.
I'm leaving them on red. I'm not saying anything.
And they're blowing up her phone, and she's ghosting. They call it ghosting. She's ghosting them. That's a horrible thing to do. I would never do that. I would never ghost the American people, Alec. I would never ghost the American people. She's ghosting them. That's a horrible thing.
I'm honored that I got you both here. I know she's very hard to get. Like I said, Willie helped me out with that. And let's move this forward here to what everybody's mind here is the border. The border is a catastrophe. We all know it. We're all living through it. You guys have two completely different philosophies when it comes to the border. President Trump, you want to close the border and deport the illegals. Madam Vice President, you want to keep the border wide open and make the illegal aliens citizens as soon as possible. So one of these paths is going to have to stick in November here. Which one is the better path for America, President Trump?
Well, we have to secure our country. We have to secure our border. You know, the reason why you lock your door at home, and Nancy Pelosi could find out about this, and so can Paul. If you don't lock the doors, a bad hombre comes into your house with a hammer and puts it someplace you're not supposed to put it. And they know all about that, and they are locking their doors now. And we have to lock our doors to our country. We have to secure our border. We have to secure it. It's got to be closed. It's got to be strong. And she doesn't want it to be strong, and she doesn't want it to be closed. And she knows another thing or two of not closing something that happened, but we don't have to talk about it. We look at the border, and the border is a terrible, terrible thing. And we're going to fix it. We're going to build a huge, beautiful wall. It's going to be the greatest wall the world has ever seen. It's going to be the greatest wall. Everybody knows about it. And you'll be stealing that policy soon. I'm sure you're going to do it because you love to take all the other ones. But we have a wall. It's going to be a beautiful wall. We're going to finish the wall, and we're going to get these people. These are bad people. These are sick people that have come into our country. They're committing crimes. They're hurting people. She says she cares about the children, but not the ones on the border, even the ones in the north, you know, by New York and Massachusetts and all of these great states. They're getting raped by some of these people, these migrant criminals. These are horrible. I call them, and I've called them this for a long time, bad hombres. These are bad hombres. We have to get all the bad hombres out. We're going to take every bad hombre and we're going to get them out of here. We're going to get them the hell out. And they're allowed to come into our country, but they have to do it legally. Legally. We have laws for a reason, and we have to follow them. So we're going to take the bad hombres. We're going to get them out. We're going to say adios to the bad hombres. The largest adios operation in the history of our great country. All the bad hombres are getting the hell out, and we're going to save our country and secure our border.
Adios, hombres. I like it. Madam Vice President, the open border plan, making them citizens. How's this going to help America?
This is America. This is America. Everybody has, they deserve the right. Look, Don, I want you to understand something, and let me be very clear. All right. You're trying to take reproductive rights away from women. You're talking about rape. If we leave the border open, rape or not, these people can go and get an abortion. That's what I'm fighting for. But you're sitting here and you're trying to take away these rights, and you're telling people that they don't have a right to come into this country unvetted. What gave you that power? This is a melting pot. All right. And I don't know if people don't understand this. I'm liberal, but I'm extreme. Okay. I believe in open borders. We shouldn't have these imaginary lines. We should be able to take the taxpayer dollar and share it amongst the world, whoever it is that needs it. That's what's going to build a strong economy. All right. If we're just going to, we can just print money. Right. I mean, I don't understand what the big deal is. You should stick to real estate. This is not your forte. We know what we're doing. Bidenomics is working. All right. Bidenomics is working, and it's going to continue to work. And this border talk, you're not going to forget about the wall. Why do we have to have a wall? Have you seen AOC crying at that at that fence? It's ridiculous. You're trying to stop people from coming in here. You're trying to stop women from having the right to an abortion. I mean, that's the real travesty here, and we need to have a conversation about that. We need to talk about that. Don, your heart is not in the right place if you have one, right?
I've got a big, beautiful heart. It beats so hard, it beats fast, and it's a beautiful heart. I can tell you that. And the people who are coming in, you want them to get hurt. You're hurting. I
don't know
people.
If Joe's is still beating. I'm not going to lie to you. You said heart, and you reminded me of that. But yeah, his heart's been gone for a long time. I can tell you that, and you know that. You covered it up. And the people know it. The people know that this guy's a vegetable. Okay, he's a vegetable, and everybody knows that. Yeah.
All right. Well, on that,
agree on that. Look, Alec, we agreed. We're getting somewhere. Maybe I'll do another debate.
Well, I got to say on that round, I'm down with Operation Adios. I think President Trump took that one again. You're crushing this debate so far. Again,
Smart
I'm
guy.
good.
Alec is a smart guy. Look at how
I'm
smart.
just trying to be non-biased here and
Look
just
at how
call it as
smart.
I'm seeing it. And the last one here for the two of you guys. Now, you mentioned it there about stealing your policies. You came up with the no tax on tips. That was a brilliant policy idea that you had. Kamala stole it. Now, how do you feel about her taking your policy ideas, making them her own, and then getting credit for it in the press? They fawned all over her. Are you afraid of her taking any of your other policies?
Well, we're not afraid of that because when you see the press say that it's a great idea when she does it and it's a bad idea when I do it, that's something that we call fake news. And the people are seeing that. They're saying, wait a second. Donald Trump says no tax on tips. You say horrible idea. Kamala says no tax on tips, and then she laughs about it with that cackle. It's horrible. It's like the Wizard of Oz. She's talking about I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. And we don't want to see that. You know, we don't want to see that. The Wicked Witch of the West. That's where she's from, California. She's the Wicked Witch of the West, and she'll get you and your little dog. Your dog is more at risk with Kamala than Kristi Noem, you know, and she has a hard time with dogs too. We're not supposed to talk about it, but we should. But you look at her taking the policy. The left is going to be very unhappy because they love taxes, and Kamala loves taxes. She's a tax queen. She's the queen of taxes. She loves to tax. You know, they called her, she was the one, she's the reason why it's there, TurboTax. She taxes people at a turbo level. It's incredible. And she's going to endorse them. They're going to endorse her. The more taxes, the more business they get. So they're very excited about it. But no taxes on tips is going to be a tremendous platform, and it's a tremendous policy. We've been talking about it for a while. She has not shared any of her policies except my policy, which is incredible. So she's going to have a hard time. There are no original ideas. We have the greatest policies, the greatest vision for our country. It's called Make America Great Again. Some people call it MAGA. It's a great thing. Make America great again. And that's what we're going to do. If she wants to steal that, and the media will say making America great is tremendous. Well, that's what we want. We want the media to know that MAGA is a good thing, and that's what we plan to do.
Madam Vice President, why steal the ideas? And do you plan on stealing any other policies from the former president?
I want to be clear about, you know, where do you think we're going to get the money for the migrants, Alec? All right, you guys aren't thinking. That's the problem here. That's why I refuse to do debates. We need to put our thinking caps on, right? We got to put them on. We got to put them on.
I don't think you have one of those. I don't think yours works.
Look,
I have to say that.
When you take out the remainder of the policy, because I know that you say tax on tips and whatever reason people get excited about it. So, you know, I mentioned tax on tips. Everyone went bananas, but I'm going to have to wait and see how you're going to implement that, because originally that wasn't my idea and the people seem to like it. But, you know, whatever it is that you do, we've undone and taken credit for it. I'm not going to argue that. That is correct. But some of your ideas have just been horrific. So, you know, I think you should just take a step back and, you know, let me handle it, because taxation is important. All right. Taxation is very important. I actually want to tax everyone up to 70%. Otherwise, none of this spending is going to work out. Right. I have a good plan. I'm not sure what it is yet, but the American people are going to trust in our plan. Bidenomics worked beautifully, and Kamalanomics will continue to work just as beautifully.
It's going to be a disaster. 70%. You heard that? 70%.
Well, you don't want to tax billionaires. You don't want to tax the billionaires. They're all your friends, like your little Elon.
We tax those people.
You did that private. You did that private X space. That wasn't fair.
They pay a lot.
That wasn't
a lot in
fair.
Taxes.
No, that wasn't fair. You don't want to tax.
What about your friend George Soros? You want to tax him? I don't think so. I don't think so. You love Uncle George. You'll probably be sleeping with him soon too. You understand?
Forget about that. Nope, that's not true. He's too old. He can't, you know, perform.
All right, here we go. Let me get a rapid
fire. Looks like
here.
Money can't buy everything, huh? If you're George Soros, even money can't buy Kamala. Look at that.
I'm sure there's a number. All right, here we go. Let's go to the rapid fire real quick here. President Trump, the left-wing lunatics have been really fearful about you getting back into the White House over some crazy things. One of them is they are afraid that you're going to rename the White House. You didn't do it the first time. They're afraid you might do it this time. If you were going to rename the White House, what are you calling it?
Well, I would call it the greatest White House because there's a lot of White Houses, but ours will be the greatest. Or maybe we'll repaint it gold and call it the Gold House because, or maybe we'll just call it Mar-a-Lago 2 while we're in there.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Because it's
You're
going to
a
be a
threat
great
to
place.
democracy. You're a threat to
Mar-a-Lago
democracy.
2, and it's going to be worth less than my original Mar-a-Lago, but it's still going to be worth a lot. Maybe we'll paint it gold. Maybe we'll call it the Gold House or the MAGA House, or maybe we'll just leave it alone and call it the White House. But I want to call it something great. We want to call it the greatest house, the most beautiful house. And that's only when we're in there, because then when we're not in there, and eventually that day will come, maybe it goes back to the White House. But if JD takes over, he could call it whatever the hell he wants. But we love the White House, and we're looking forward to giving it a brand new, it'll be American Makeover. Remember that show where they move the bus and it's a beautiful house? We might be able to do that. And maybe we'll take the slopes off the roof so Secret Service can have a better time up there. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see what happens.
Like the vision. All right, Vice President Harris, there are some people that are afraid. We know that you don't like the national anthem. You've taken a knee for the national anthem, not just Montel and Willie, but also for the Star Spangled Banner. Some people are afraid that you might switch out the Star Spangled Banner as our national anthem. If you are going to get rid of the song, what song are you going to make the national anthem?
I think WAP is appropriate. I think it's appropriate. I think we need to get with the times.
Of course it is. It describes her perfectly. That much I
We're
can tell
not
you.
going back, Donald. We're not going back. All right. And, being married to Melania, and you know all about WAPs. So, I went there because you keep on jabbing at me with Willie and Montel. And these are upstanding men. All right.
And
These
George.
are,
Don't forget about George. We mentioned him too.
I don't know how upstanding George is, but, he is an ally.
He
And-
gave you a lot of money.
You see, he's horrific for democracy. He interrupts. He's so ill-mannered, right? I mean, he has a problem with laughter. He has a problem with the White House. He wants to turn it gold. I mean, he's the biggest threat of democracy that we have, okay? I want to make the world a better place. We don't need these old, outdated songs. The red, white, and blue is outdated, all right? I was thinking of, the Hamas colors. That would be nice, right? We love our Middle Eastern terrorist organizations. They have a lot of money too, and they support me. So I'm all about change. We're not going back. We're not going back. Sorry, Don. We're not going back.
All right. Well, I got one here from the audience. I had one email question. I selected one from the audience. This is who's going to be for both of you guys. If your spouse were to give you a hall pass for the day, where are you going? President Trump, you're up first. Melania gives you the hall pass. Where are you going?
We would never go anywhere. We'd go right back to Melania. She's a great person. She's beautiful and highly respected. A lot of people want to say that something happened between me and Horseface when they ignored Tim Walz and the other horse. There was something that happened there, and we don't know what it was. But it happened a lot. From what I understand, it happened a lot, and you're not supposed to do that. We wouldn't go anywhere. We love Melania. Melania is tremendous. So we're going to take the hall pass and we're going to burn it like Minneapolis. We're going to burn it right down. Fiery, but mostly peaceful. We would never go anywhere. And she would go anywhere. We just talked about that. She would go anywhere with her hall pass. She'd go all over the place. But I would go nowhere. I would go absolutely nowhere. Right back to Melania. She's tremendous and nobody's better. That much I can tell you.
Madam Vice President, are you sticking or kicking? Doug gives you the is he laying the pipe here? What do we got? You get the hall pass, or are you staying put, or you going?
She might sleep with the nanny too. She might sleep
Well,
with the
hold
nanny
on
too.
a
We'll see
second,
what
because we have an arrangement, and I'm already about halfway done with my list for the year. So I'm sorry that you only get one hall pass, Donnie, but I have a very secure marriage. All right, Doug is mostly there for optics, but we're halfway through. Look at that. We're halfway through for the hall pass. So I can't give you just one name. I don't want to insult anyone.
All right. We're in a shorter list then, I guess, if I ask who wasn't on your hall pass list. But all right, let's close this out here. President Trump, with 60 seconds, vision for the future. What's going to happen to America if you don't get in? Hit the voters.
Well, we have a cackling hyena, and she's horrible. You saw that. She has a book of hall passes. This is crazy. And no vision. She has no vision. My vision is to make America great again. We're going to secure the border, safe streets, great schools, a fantastic economy, a gold White House. Who the hell says no to that? Only people who hate our country, and she hates our country. but we're going to do it. We're going to bring inflation down. We're going to bring costs of everything down. Even the people like Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, these are big people, big people. We're looking at it. They love to eat and they spend so much money on food. They're going to do what we call voting with their stomachs. And they got big stomachs, I can tell you that. They're going to be looking at it saying, my food is going to cost less so I can buy more of it. They're going to vote for me and we're going to win. We're going to make America great again and nobody's going to be unhappy. Everybody's going to do better. And that is our vision for our country. Make America great again. Nobody says it better. Nobody does it better. Believe me.
Madam Vice President, take us home.
You know, he always talks about making America great again, as if it's not great right now. All right. So it was great. I made it a little less great, but now we're going to really bring her home. All right. So I'm going to be very transparent. I want to be very clear. He wants to take away your rights. He wants to take away the rights of the LGBTQIA, eeny, meeny, miny, mo community. He wants to, make Mexicans pay for some walls. Even though I don't have a substantial plan, it can't be Donald Trump. We won on that concept before, and we're going to go guns blazing on that concept again. He wants to take away your freedom. He wants to take away your rights. Nothing he said has reflected that. But I want to just continue with this method of gaslighting to make you all understand. It just can't be him. All right. We can't have mean tweets again. That would be deadly. All right. We cannot have a president that's a bully. We just can't do it. What are you showing the children of this nation? Can't have a bully as president. All right. And, I think Joe did a fantastic job. And I will be president on November 5th, whether you like it or not, Donald. So I will see all the voters. But I'm telling you, you are the threat to democracy. And that's what I'm gonna end with.
Well, I want to thank the two of you guys for this debate. We did a flash poll here with the listeners. 90% think Donald Trump won the debate over Kamala Harris. This is, again, a non-biased poll. 10% of illegals that voted say that Kamala won. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much, Kamala, especially to you. I know I'm one of the very few in the press that got the opportunity to speak with you. I know that you guys will be doing another debate tonight on X Spaces. What can you guys tell the listeners? Where can they go to find that debate? What can they look forward to?
Well, it's going to be great. At Mr. Steven Steele on X, he's going to be hosting it, X Spaces, and you could expect to hear another lisp. We have the greatest lisp the world has ever seen. Nobody's ever lisped like we have, even though that was fake news. But we're going to have a debate tonight on X. It's a fantastic platform. She said she wouldn't go there, but we got her there. I told her Willie Brown's going to be there. She came to X. And we're going to have a beautiful debate. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be fascinating. And the people are going to hear from us again, and they're going to make up their mind. That much I can say. They're going to make up their mind, and they're going to choose to make America great again. I can tell you that.
I can't wait for you to say it to my face, Don. Just say it to my face.
We're going to do that.
You guys are great. I got the links to your Twitter accounts down in the description below. Thank you for the great debate. I'm going to watch tonight on X Spaces. Love to get you back down the line. Good luck with the rest of the campaigns.
Thank you, Alec.
God bless you.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Big props and thank you to Sean Farash and Esty Palti for giving me a few minutes of their time to set this debate up and do it. They are doing another debate tonight on X Spaces. I hope you guys will check that out as well. They are the best in the business. And you know what? Politics is so vile and so disgusting, and it's gotten so just, it's hard to talk politics in this country right now. You can't have any type of civil discourse with anybody. But thank God that we do have some people that can keep it light. We can still laugh at some of these things. And of course, it's pretty easy to dunk on Kamala Harris. She is a perfect character. Well, honestly, both Trump and Kamala Harris are great characters to impersonate. And these guys do such a great job of it. And you know what's crazy is you have these shows like mainstream shows or what used to be mainstream Saturday Night Live. You would think that Saturday Night Live would have both of these guys on to do that style debate because it's hilarious the way, but they'll never do it because they don't want to make fun of Kamala Harris. They don't want to make fun of these left-wing lunatics the way that they could easily have so much fun doing so, like you just heard. They are missing out by not bringing these two guys on a show like Saturday Night Live. Not that they probably would because it's a left-wing run show, but the Tonight Show, they should have both of these guys on. Like these two should be everywhere right now. because this is the time. But they won't do it because they're both on the right. They're both conservative people. And so they'll never give him a chance. And it's still, there's never been anybody on Saturday Night Live that, like you had Alec Baldwin, you've had all these other, there's never been anybody as good as Sean Farash at doing Donald Trump impersonations. Not even close. But he's not on The Tonight Show, and he's not on Saturday Night Live. Same thing with Este. So these are two talented people. They don't need it. They've got tons of followers on social media. Follow them on TikTok. Follow them on Instagram. Follow them on Twitter. They're the best. Again, they got an X Spaces tonight going down with another debate. Don't miss out on that. Again, I'm honored that they took the time to join me here for the debate. What did you guys think about it? Leave me with a comment below. I thought that was fun. I had a blast doing it. I'm glad that I got a chance to do it. And my hat is off to them. So grateful that they took the time. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying it. Follow the channel here on Rumble. Again, I was supposed to have Laura Logan on the podcast today. She came down a little sick. Hopefully it ain't nothing with the monkeypox. I got to find out. But she was a little ill. Or not feeling well, so we had to postpone. Hopefully we get her back next week. But next week I am scheduled to have Steve Bannon's daughter, Maureen Bannon, on the podcast here. She's been holding it down on the War Room while Steve Bannon is in prison for something that nobody on the left ever goes to prison for, only people on the right, like Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon. Obviously, you have people on the right, like Attorney General Merrick Garland, who did the exact same thing as they did. He didn't go to jail. They did. But that's the kind of dual justice system that we have in this country. But Maureen Bannon will be joining me here next week. So don't miss out on that. Make sure you're following me on X at Alec Lace for all the other upcoming guest announcements. Again, thank you for taking the time to spend your Thursday with me. I will be back on Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, I hope you enjoyed it. Share this broadcast. If you enjoyed that debate, share the broadcast with everybody in the network. Let them see it. I will put it up on X tomorrow in its entirety. But share this link of this episode today so your friends and family can check it out. That was great. That was a lot of fun. Those guys are a riot. They're the best at what they do. And I'll be back here Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Rumble. God bless all you parents out there. God bless you listeners. God bless our police, our first responders. God bless our military, our veterans. God bless America. And I will catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend.
You're listening to the Alec Lace Show. The future is family.
Promo code FATHERHOOD. Go to mypillow.com and everything we have on sale there. Actually, we brought in the percale sheets. The queen size, $34.98 a set. King size, $39.98 a set. That's unheard of. It's the lowest price in history. And everything else on there that we have, you can save up to 80%. We don't have any middlemen. We don't have box stores and stuff. They canceled on MyPillow. They even canceled my book to get my book out, you know. So use that promo code FATHERHOOD, everybody, and please help us out, and thanks for ones that you have already helped. And by the way, you'll be helping yourself to the best sleep in history, period.
I got to tell you, that mattress topper is the best product I have in the house, Mike, no doubt.
And that turns any bed into the best bed in history. If you got an old bed, new bed, doesn't matter. You put the mattress topper on there, and it changes everything. You need a different input to get a different output. People waking up every day going, maybe my bed will be better tonight. No, you need a MyPillow mattress.